Right, welcome back to Milton Mo Junction. It's been a few weeks. I've been away abroad, so haven't been up here at all. And even now it's summer, so obviously everyone knows that. But it means that there's other things to do as well as come up here. It's more of a winter sort of hobby, I guess. But I've been up and I've done a bit of work. As you can see, I've put the top board in position now. I've painted underneath it black to dull it down a bit, and also, if you can see, I've put a side into the tunnel. That was quite a complicated business actually, because there wasn't much room between this track, the furthest track you can see, and the track behind the wall. So what I thought I'd do, I'd cut a bit of plasticard to the height, required height. It's white plasticard. I've bent it round and basically held it upright in position with long screws screwed in. Obviously on the far side that's not a problem, you can't see them, so I didn't have to do anything with that. But on this side there were two screws that were holding the board up and bending round it using the screws. So I came up with a way of covering those up, which is basically I sanded down the top of the screw head so it's very, very small, and pushed on a bit of plastic girder cut to the size, and glued that to the plastic back wall, painted the whole lot in a concrete paint, and I'm pretty pleased with it. Weathered it a little bit and I'm quite pleased with the result. The track obviously I've ballasted and weathered that a little bit as well, because it's obviously hard to get out once you've got the top on. The top, underneath the top, is all painted matte black to help the light, and so that's all ready to go. Obviously you can see from the white girder at the front that needs painting. I've got another girder to make up, go across the top of that. The only annoying thing is this particular wall here. It's vertical at this end, it's vertical as far as I can see at this end. This wall here is vertical, but when the two meet there's a slight slope, so I can't seem to get my head around it or make it any better. So I'm going to actually leave it, and what I should do is I should cover up the slight imperfection with greenery, because the top will have a lot of hillside, because the top track will be coming out of a tunnel, out of a hillside there to cover up the join, and I'll just have greenery coming down that wall a little bit to cover up any imperfections. I'm a bit stuck at this end at the moment for the track, because I'm just this minute ordered another point which I need up there, so I'm waiting for that to turn up. Hopefully that will turn up tomorrow or the next day, and I can get on with that. And that's about what I've done at this end. So I'll just go up the other end and show you a little bit of work that I've been doing up there. Okay, well the racetrack that comes out at that end starts just here at the basic level. So what I've done, I've run some boarding across the back there, all at the right level, all at the basic level, to come here, which will eventually join up with the bridge here. But to raise it, I've ordered, as well as the point, I've ordered an incline, and I thought that would be the easiest thing. So I'll just start the incline at the join there, and just come round the back, inclining up the whole time until it gets to the height I want, which is about just over 3 inches, to get onto that bridge. Once that's in place and I've laid the track, this end is really finished. My original idea was just to hide the whole end so that the track just disappears and you don't see it at this end. I'm still going to do that, but originally I was going to have it all boarded in, perhaps a hillside at this end and a hillside at the other end, and then perhaps a back seam but at the front for the whole middle. I mean, I might still do that, but I'm going to adjust it a little bit. For some time I've been thinking about an O gauge layout. I'm quite enamoured with O gauge, especially the German O gauge, because there's some real good models out by Lens. So I did at one point think of changing the whole system, the whole layout to O gauge, but apart from anything else, I think my wife would go absolutely mad if I told her I was going to do that. So what I've decided to do in the end is I'm going to build a small end-to-end layout, be about 11 foot here across there, above the original layout, and that's just going to be a little O gauge German layout, which I can sort of get my fix of O gauge with. So at this end it will start here, it'll be slightly L shape, start here, but I'll use that as the top of any tunnel that the OO gauge layout goes under. So that'll either give me, as I say, a little fix of my O gauge, and I'll carry on with the OO gauge. If by any chance I really do like the O gauge and I decide to expand it, well, that'll be a different story, but for the time being we're just going to do what I said. So I'll let you know what's happening when I've got the rail and the incline, and I'll show you another video of what I've done then. Right, done a little bit more, not a lot at this end. All I've done is I've built the girdered bridge front, I've sprayed it with undercoat, and I'll get to work on that later. And I've also got the point now, so I can fix that in and get working on the top there. The most of the work I've done at the other end, where I've created the incline all the way along. It's all been glued down, and the track's been fixed to the top of it, and the track's all been electrified as droppers all the way down, so that is all up and running. So I've done that, and I've also built part of the top shelf that I was talking about to have a little play with the O gauge, and if it all goes wrong I can use it as storage, but that'll be sort of all blanked off underneath so that you won't actually see that end. So that's what I've done so far. I've progressed a little bit more. I've put in a point up this end, and it's all been wired up. I've had to put a surface point motor because it's too difficult to get underneath, and I've put a new point controller which has got a frog juicer on it, so that it'll change the polarity on the point. That won't be seen, it'll be under the tunnel anyway, and from the angle that you'll actually view it at, you won't actually be able to see through the tunnel entrance, so that's not a problem. I've laid that. What I've got to do now is build a hill over the top now, so I'll do that bit, and that's the next bit here. At the other end I've completed the boarding for the end-to-end O gauge layout. I've laid most of the track, and well, at least I positioned it and to see how I want it to end up. It's not quite finished, obviously this end isn't finished yet, but it's just ready to do a bit more work on. One of the reasons, I mean, I've got bad back at the minute. I've actually twisted my back and got a little trapped nerve in it, I think. Working up here, some of it is popping up through these holes and having to sort of work in awkward positions. And that's one of the thoughts between the O gauge layout. If I did get rid of the OO layout and convert to O gauge, I would make it simple. I'd just have one level all around the outskirts of the loft, with no little pop-up holes having to be created, and all on one level. So that would be a lot easier to work with, but we'll see. At this end I've now completed the heel. I used the shaper sheet to create the shape of the heel, and then some plaster bandages over the top, very thin layer. I've tried it a different way this time. Rather than paint the plaster like I did with the canal, I've just put a sheet of specialist cloth on it as a backing sheet, and then done the rest of the work on it, and put the vine down the corner of the edge where I mentioned, and just finished off the rest of it. Put the tunnel entrance, that was fixed with the shaper sheet. I've put a tree on this sort of it's the far corner, but I'm not really happy with that tree. I might have a look and make a different one. It's a bit dark and it doesn't really look quite right, so I might have a little play with that. There's a couple of other little bits I want to do. I want to sort of paint the edging of the wall a bit. It looks a little bit too white on the vertical bit, but that's a little bit of touch up to do later. I can do that when I start doing the track ballasting and the track furniture all around there. But for the time being I've finished at this corner, so I'll now put this up, and if you've got any comments, obviously feel free to leave them. Any questions, ask them, and if you wish, subscribe. Okay, bye for now.